Welcome to Magical Aspirations, a podcast for magical people, where we aspire to gather all of the knowledge magic has to offer, a place to illuminate and demystify all things magical.
Oh, relationships, man.
I know it's hard.
I love it.
It really is. That's what, as we're talking about this, I know we've talked about it before, but I think a good thing for season 3 would be to have a good talk about magic and partnership and how it strengthens and changes and all of that. Your magic, I think that's a good.
I'm behind
it might
it.
be cool to get someone
down, actually.
To get someone who's like a relationship counselor or something like that.
It
comes from like a metaphysical background.
Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Yeah. I'm like, who do I know?
Right. We gotta know somebody.
Somebody.
The 3 of us.
Man, that interview with Yolanda, I'm still cooking on that information.
Oh man, right?
I'm just
you were just sitting right on that, Adriana. Like, cooking it like a little egg under there. Oh, by the way, I have this hypnosis lady.
I was like, damn. And the timing, like I said, of being in ritual on that Monday, and somebody afterwards like, do you practice hypnosis? And so them talking about like hypnosis after ritual, and then we have that interview with her, and I was like, all right, I gotta know. She's like, yep, you were hypnotized. So I was like, okay,
all right,
cool, just checking.
Yeah, as long as that's what happened.
Just so many good nuggets there, though. It's like, damn.
Yeah, so much to like dive into. I'm definitely like, yeah, we need her back, because I am all for like bringing pieces of yourself and past life, just like all those things. Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I know, for real. So, what are we talking about for the finale, guys?
What do we say?
Recaps, kind of just in general.
Yeah.
Probably going over. I haven't like picked any episodes and that were my favorite, but can y'all believe we have hit 56? This will be our 57th episode.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
That's so much.
I know, like 1 year, season 2.
Yeah. That's so wild. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like looking. Yeah, Kiara's like, a year? I'm like, I know. Yeah, a year. Wow. It feels like longer, but shorter at the same time.
It does.
Like a weird time warp.
Yeah, something we've been doing our whole lives, but also like, didn't we just start yesterday? Like, my notebook is just about, I think the next page will be halfway through. My notebook that I started with all of our original ideas on. Let's see, what's the first note in here?
Yeah, let's look back.
The first date, 12/30/21. Prepping for the first meeting. That's what I wrote. How often do we want to record episodes? How often do we want to release episodes? Oh my God, we were so cute.
Oh, baby. So much, baby.
Do you have that original list of ideas? Can we look at that?
And
see, like, are there things that we haven't talked about that we really wanted to?
Let's see. We have talked about astrology. I can scratch that off the list. We have touched on past life regression, tarot oracle, paganism, safe magic. Ooh, here's something I wrote down. Fuck you, Annalisa. Good God. Breaking the chains of indoctrined faith.
Oh, shit. That's a series. That is
Lord. Okay. She meant business with that one, I guess.
Yeah, for real. Wow.
Okay. There's a few things on here. So we've Myths and legends and how that ties into your magic.
That's so weird. Every time we try to talk about myths, it never happens.
It does never happen. We see, and I wonder, I do ponder as to why.
No, but actually,
we're gonna write that down because myths and legends is what led me to magic in the first place.
Me too.
Yeah. And I've been thinking about some other myths. I'm like, that's so relevant. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about it?
Why are we not talking about it? All right. Well, that's
accountability.
Accountability. There we go. Coming back to the original ideas.
That'll be good. I know that Pisces is all about like creativity and ideas and like rewriting the story, but with us taking the break, it might be hard to get that done in Pisces season to talk about myths.
Yeah.
So if we start the new season in the new year in our Aries season, maybe we could discuss myths that we think are like powerful. Like we could each pick like a myth or two that gives us inspiration that's like personally powerful. I'm kind of framing it that way.
Yes. Done.
Ooh, let me think on that.
Yeah.
I already know because that would be the story of Persephone and Hades. I can remember reading in my 5th grade literature class, we had a whole book of gods and goddesses and like all of their associated myths and things like that. And that was the one I read it over and over and over and over and over and over. I love that one. Okay. I like that.
Yep.
I like it.
Let's see. So at some point we'll come back around to breaking the chains of indoctrined faith.
We will.
So like that's intense. We have talked about animals, but I guess not necessarily animal communication. I had written that down.
Yeah, that was going to be our part 2 animal talk.
Yes.
Because for some reason I was holding back talking about telepathic communication with animals till the end of the episode when I found my dog's hair in the tarot book.
Yep, that'll do it.
Oh yeah, that will always do it. Okay, so here y'all will appreciate this. Isaac and I, it was finally like a non-gloomy day yesterday, and we go out the fence on the golf course. We go walk the dogs, and we come back. We let the dogs like back in the yard off leash, and we happen to both like turn around at the edge of the fence where we had literally just walked past. And I'm sending it now. Look what I found. It is a whole entire intact snake shed.
What? Shut up.
Literally a foot away from my fence, directly facing into my yard. Like literally it looked like the deities of my land or whomever literally took it and placed it.
That is
like it was right in my eye line. So I don't know what kind of magic I'm gonna do with that, but it's like 3.5 feet long.
Oh my god.
Oh, what a gift.
Literally, it's perfect. Isaac was able to pick it up with 2 fingers and like the whole thing. It's got the little eye caps on it and everything.
Like people pay big money for that kind of shit. And here you are, just here you go.
It's literally just
dang, it's so long.
It just came through on my end. Let me see.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Wow.
I can't 100% tell, but it looks to be like a big rat snake, which those are good protective things that we like. So we're going with that, hopefully.
Wow. I love that.
I know. Maybe I'll save y'all each a little bit.
No, ma'am. Take.
No, that's for me. As soon as I said that, I was like, no, that's for me. That's for my land. That's for my land. That's not for me. That's not for me. So that animal communication, part 2. I had shadow work on here.
Yes.
Shadow work, no explanation. So I figure we can go.
Yeah, it was kind of neat because as we go and talk to some of the different guests, like along the way, you know, when we talked about hypnosis, when we talked about, you know, health and wellness, things like that. It's like pretty much every topic when we have a guest, they touch on shadow work. So I think that's pretty cool because it like reminds us that it's always present.
Right. Right. and the necessity of it too, of not just. I have found myself with some of the people like following on social media that they're not that I have any problem with like love and light and positive vibes, but like it just is, it feels very disingenuous.
Yep.
I had on here deities also, but deities would probably tie into myths and legends. Or I am not someone who works at this time very heavily with deities, so maybe we should do that as its own episode.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Because Becky, you do definitely, yeah?
Yep.
And Adriana, do you?
I do.
But I also have some things to say about our connection with deity.
Yes.
With like big G God versus gods. So I think that would be cool for us to talk about like our personal relationship with deity. And then go into like if we use specific names or facets, to practice individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah. We should probably always, but also like angels, saints type of other entities probably should come up too, because I'm sure we all do that.
Because then that's when I find I definitely have no time, energy, space, mental capacity to do magic.
Yep.
I love you guys. And I know that we have not been officially recording, but I have a feeling that we're just going to keep talking, and I'm just going to cut out the important snippets from this conversation. So I guess let's start talking about what season 2, our birthday, season 3, like
season 2. Yeah. So, okay. I'm so bad. What was the first episode of season 2?
The first episode of season 2 was Misty and Carrie, the paranormal investigators.
Damn.
So that was on September 27th, 2022. That was a fun
seems like so long ago.
I know.
It really does. God, September was actually a lifetime ago. Like, holy shit.
Okay,
it's one of the things I'm grateful for season 2 was how many dope people we got to interview. We got really interview heavy for a while, and we got to meet. We went from September 27th to December 6th. All of those were interviews. Oh, one of my favorite conversations that I think we've had this season. Captolia, Miss K, and then Dominique. That was such a good. All 3 of those I really, really dug.
Those are really good. I really enjoyed seeing the consistency and the change from when we interviewed Catherine first, and then we interviewed her again.
And like then also, if you are a follower of hers, which I know all 3 of us are, just the changes she made from when we interviewed her that dropped December 27th to now.
I know.
Becky, have you been to her new little spot yet?
I have not. She just had her Cotton Soft opening, as we call it, on the 15th. So, and we are right in the deep graw. So I am not going to the quarter until Mardi Gras Day. And I'm going to guess she's probably not going to be open. So I'm going to have to catch her after Mardi Gras.
Oh my God. Yeah. She is just, she's
incredible.
Awesome and incredible. And like the push that she pushes herself through, she is an honor to watch is kind of the only word for it. Like, I'm really obsessed with watching her journey. It's so fucking motivational.
I know. When I saw her post, like, we're hiring, I'm like, fuck yes.
I know. And you know that instantly I was like, man, if I was still in New Orleans proper, like, done.
That comment thread got me in trouble. I was like, that comment thread got me in trouble. I got PMs from people and everything.
Oh, no.
I mean, not in a bad way. Just like,
okay.
oh, if you come and work with us, you can park in the parking garage and like hold y'all's horses.
Wait a minute, like
I commented when she said they were hiring for the witch desk.
Yes.
And I was like, looks at current workload. Shove it to the side, and 3 people comment like, hey. Are you gonna go do that?
You need to go do that now.
Oh my god, yeah. It's just so good to see her like up and running and walking in this new path. So it's like, yes, we love this. We love this.
Well, and she's such, as someone who has struggled with like weight and body image her whole life, like not only has she like the physical, the mental, the magical, the spiritual, like she's slaying her dreams before us. And like, how can you not be absolutely inspired by that? Like, it makes me want to do everything I've ever wanted.
Yes. Yes. She's very much a like, I'm talking the talk and I'm walking the walk.
Shit, yeah.
Oh, I really enjoyed our interview with Sam. I actually just went back and listened to that again.
Yes.
And I keep being, drawn back to that message of community and how important community is for each of us individually. It's funny, it's how spirit works, but like I said the other day, whenever I was just recording in the living room and pulled another rune, and I pull a rune talking about community and us coming together. And even though I am leaving some things in the past, kind of moving on to different paths and different organizations that I'm going to be working with, just because I'm leaving one thing, it doesn't mean that I'm turning my back on the community. And that there aren't new paths to forge with other people, within the community.
I'm sure to that. And speaking of community, I have thoroughly enjoyed your reflections this season. You can physically hear you stepping more and more into that leader, that Leo leader that is in there. But then also just like this level of, yeah, this is the fuck who I am. Like, yeah, okay, let's move on. Here's what we have to do. Let's get this work in. All right.
Yep.
And I love being able to hear that type of growth in somebody's meditational spiritual practice, because it's like, yeah, that's somebody who's actually doing the work right there.
Oh, for sure. Can you guys harken back to, there's one specific meeting that we had at Michelle's house where Adam came and he brought his flute. And I think that was maybe the first time that one of the first times that Becky, you had talked about like vocalizing along with the music, and like just thinking back to your progression, that you sounded so unsure of yourself then, and where to now, even in, because I love that Adriana was talking about like hearing your voice, even in your rune interpretation from your Imbolc message, in your writing, you can hear it.
Ashe. Yeah. How does that feel? Yeah.
I'm teary-eyed.
I'm gonna need your reflection
right now.
There's a lot of work that goes into that behind the scenes, but the biggest part is listening to your intuition and not being scared to share that message. Not being worried what others are going to think about how you interpreted it or what you're saying or things like that, because you're a vessel of spirit. So whatever you say, it's going to be the right thing in that moment.
Yes, ma'am. Oof.
All right,
yes.
Reverend. Yep.
Yeah. Preach it, Rev. Preach it, Rev. Oh my God. This is, I am so proud of us for doing this. Coming up on our birthday, I've been having a lot of reflections about, this is our mark. This is our mark that we have left. We are continuing to leave. And that is as a woman who doesn't have children, I think that's an important thing to mark.
Yes.
That like this is something that will, I feel like I said this at our season 1 finale, about this will always be something that we have done. And I kind of find myself astounded by that even still.
Like we have a trail, we have a footprint. That's crazy to me.
Is it? That is wild. That is wild. Think of how tiny our little voices sounded back in Magic is Not a Dirty Word on February 22nd, 2022. I need to go back and listen to that episode. I haven't listened to that in probably almost a year now.
Same. Yeah. And Annalisa, it's time for me to sing your praises as well. So buckle up.
Yes.
Okay. But like, I know I always mention this, but you saying I want to do this thing and then calling a community forward to do this thing is absolutely incredible. Had you not invited us to say, let's just find people that we know, even find people that we don't know who want to talk about the same things that we want to talk about, has made it incredibly easy for us to find guests. Incredibly easy for us to connect with new community members, have conversations that we never would have had. And you, all you did was just like listen to the call. Like that's it. And I know it sounds like a really easy thing, but like, no, that fucking took a lot of work. But like, here you are. And then still now you have grown so much. And I know you talk about like, I'm still figuring out who I am and my, like unlearning and things like that. And all I see is a woman who is just her, who you are just shining in your confusion, shining in your anger and your sadness and your joy. And I love that about you. And I love that you bring that to us. And you also challenge us to like, sit the fuck down, stop. Stop. And then you also check in on us. Like, is this still something that we want to do? And I appreciate that instead of just like dancing around it. So you're welcome.
Oh my God. Yes. And so answering the call, that is a big part of it, but also then learning how to do all of this stuff, all the technical things that go into creating a podcast. Like, you've done so much work behind the scenes, and who would have known like a year and a half ago, you couldn't have even told yourself that you're going to be producing a podcast.
No way.
Like, that's fucking unreal. Look at you. That's awesome.
I love you guys. I love you so much. I forget how much words of affirmation is one of my love languages. And I really needed to hear that. Thank y'all. Y'all know I put an immense amount of pressure on myself, and thank you. I am so proud to be able to do this. It's still, it's hard to talk about sometimes with people because like I get caught up in the muggle struggle, and it's so precious to me that I don't want anyone to be gross about it. So sometimes I just don't talk about it in like real life. Like my husband was talking about how he went home for Christmas, and his mom and I think a couple of other family members are pretty regular listeners. And he was like, they were talking about it, and they were talking about how cool it was. And I was like, that makes me feel weird. That makes me feel a little weird and uncomfortable. But that's where the growth happens, is in the uncomfortable spaces. And there is a lot of work that goes into all the background stuff. I make most of all the graphics and all of the it's fun now. Like creativity is important, and this is a cool way that I get to be creative. And I didn't realize how grateful I was for that, I think, until this moment. Yay! I love you guys. This is a dope thing that we do.
I would say that, it's funny hearing you talk about whenever Isaac went home and like hearing people, talking about the podcast, but people that probably aren't magical practitioners talking about it.
Yeah.
That is the thing that still makes me kind of uncomfortable. Whenever like Adam's great uncle is asking me about the podcast and what we're talking about, and me knowing that he's Christian.
Right.
And being like, I'm still kind of uncomfortable, that they're asking me about it. It's one thing that I'm sitting here doing it. I don't know who's listening out there.
Exactly. There's such this like false sense of security because I'm just on a phone call with my friends and we happen to publish it.
Absolutely.
But when I went to that full moon ritual that the Torch put on a couple weeks ago, whenever Pete was introducing me to people, he said, and she produces a podcast called Magical Aspirations. And I was like, oh, kind of like become a celebrity status thing whenever I'm introduced to people, and I'm like, what?
Absolutely. Yeah. That is so good. Yeah, I think when we first, during season 1, my dad had seen me post about magical aspiration. He was like, so what do y'all talk about? What is magical aspiration? I'm like, oh, just spirituality, things we're interested in, gossip, that's it. And then he asked me again a few months later. He's like, so what do y'all talk about again? I was like, we just cards, crystals, all the woo-woo things. And I was like, go, Adri, I see you. I see the growth in you for being, like stepping into that. So I get that.
Yeah. And just, I guess that's just a point, for us to bring up that, even though we're doing this, we are still navigating like our own paths and us being like comfortable, talking about it.
Absolutely. Because it did, sorry to whoever is listening, but it was a minor point of contention in my family for a moment. There was some slander thrown. We'll leave it there. So it makes for a weird navigation. But the thing that I am the most grateful for is that it always brings me back to, it's about me being true to who I am. And this is just who I am.
Yes.
Like anytime I get questioned with it, it's, why is it important? Don't you think it's stupid? Whatever, sucking the lifeblood of the children. Like, that's not who I am. But like the honoring the spirit of who I am, that's important to me. And that I realize that a little more with like each passing week that we do this. Because like, I'm not fucking stopping.
Right. That's so interesting you said that, because I feel like every time I get a hint of like, am I really this spiritual person? Are these really my beliefs? My higher self, insight, whoever out there in the ethers will always like bring me back to this. What are your names? Like, I am Adriana. I am daughter of the storm. Like, in just like all of these things about myself. And I'm like, okay, yeah, bring me back to the center. Bring me back to the center. And that always helps me to move through those feelings of guilt or unsureness and just all the things. Like, and you mentioned, Becky, that like the producer of Magical Aspiration, that's another title. That's something else that we earned. It wasn't just given to us, it was earned. So it's like,
it was absolutely earned.
Yeah.
We all did, because we really all, I feel it. It's been a while since I went back and listened to that first episode, but I feel like we all had such unsurety. And like now when we speak, like people have commented on it. Like you can hear the progression of like, y'all aren't scared anymore. Like it's easy to speak with conviction about these things because I know them. I am them. Like this is not just novelty or aesthetic to me. Like it's how I communicate with my higher self and the divine, whatever you want to call it.
I remember being I would keep myself on mute for the sound, but also because like I was like, if I don't have anything of worth to speak about say, I'm just not gonna say anything.
Right, like I'm not even gonna chime in. I totally feel that. But I'm glad that you brought that up, because so we mute ourselves sometimes when we're interviewing people, especially just to keep with the sound quality and let people be able to speak clearly. You can hear it if you go back and listen to some of the early interviews from this season. I think specifically the rapport is different when we are engaging differently, because like we feel comfortable. Like I can remember with some of like the Who, let me scroll through here. It was definitely with Captolia. I was like, shit, she's like big deal, like don't sound like an asshole, like. And that was an episode where I think I took myself off of mute a lot, actually, because I realized there was something she said that it was about the importance of engaging. And when we engage, that's when the conversations tend to be much more rich.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And now I used to be also ashamed because I'm very much a vocal confirmer. So like a lot of yes, all of those ad libs, like that is me in any conversation. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want people to hear this because they're gonna be like, oh, shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, whatever.
But that's the draw. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's how you communicate. And I totally feel that, because I felt the same way about all my little ooh yeah, girl. Oh, that's how, if you're talking with me in person, that's how I'm talking. So here I am.
Yeah. I think creating a facade of professionalism is what we have gotten away from, and allowing ourselves to be more true and genuine.
Yes. That I like, realized,
oh, we need to be in this certain box, and we need to like present ourselves and like be totally polished and things like that. Well, a lot of the draw is that we are real.
Right. This is not scripted. We really don't we don't script any of it. Nowadays I barely edit anything. Like the first half of season 1, I was like editing out all these like little tiny spaces of like silence and dead space, and like I'm talking like quarters of a second, like, because I was like, no, it's got to be perfect. And fuck that, I've stopped doing all of that. Like I put in the end, I put in the beginning, I put in the end. Sometimes I don't even listen back to it anymore. I'm like, whatever, like, because I heard somebody else's podcast, their opening said something about this is unedited and unscripted, and I was like, you can do that? Like, I didn't. It kind of was this like, head blown emoji moment of like, psh, it doesn't have to be perfect, and people will still fucking listen to it.
Very much that. And I had to like humble myself, because the podcasts that I love are people just like saying whatever it is, what it is, like, oh, we had to take a brief moment or whatever the case may be. I'm like, why are you not bringing that to your own podcast? Come on, girl, come on.
Exactly. Bing.
Yep. I love it here.
I love it here. I am endlessly proud of us for this.
And I think us talking about like our mistakes with our practice helps people learn too.
Agreed.
Like we learn from our mistakes, but if we can share that information with others and kind of share, what are some of our like pitfalls and what have been challenges for us, then maybe other people won't have to go through as many of those things.
100%.
Or they'll just feel okay when they inevitably do fall on their ass. Because like that's part of it all, figuring it out on your own. Because that is the thing that I am taking away from season 2, is that we do a lot of encouraging people to stay magical and stay true to their magic. And I just have to keep reminding myself that, like, even if my magic looks a little different, that's okay. Because like, so I mentioned my snake skin that I found earlier. My first thought was, ooh, I got to go look up some stuff to do that. Or I can take the knowledge I already have and make something my own.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to do that instead.
Look at that growth.
Yeah.
I know. That's the thing that this, it helps me feel like my voice has been heard, and it makes my magic stronger and more honest.
I'm so proud of us.
I'm so proud of us. I love you, Magical Aspirations.
Yes. I love you.
I have also enjoyed seeing our bonds grow stronger together.
Yeah.
Between
for
the three
sure.
of us.
For sure.
That like when we were first starting this, it's like, okay, you know, we're gonna get together on Sunday mornings, and now we like text each other all through the week.
Yeah, I know, right?
And you know, it's just like there's always something that makes us think of each other that we want to share with each other, and that we've really become a good support system for each other, not just in magic, but in all of the challenges of life too. And that's really special because we've created a community here.
I so sillily have never even, like, I'm always like, oh, I wish I had a bigger magical community. And like,
it's right here.
Hello, you silly thing. Hello, you silly thing. They're literally right here in front of you. I agree with that so much, because in a space where I feel especially very magically unheard sometimes, because Jesus Christ, am I surrounded by muggles? I am really grateful for you two to be able to be so real with, and not have to feel like some of the people that we've interviewed, I have met in person, and I'm like, fangirling over them, you know, even though I'm sure they're definitely just like, Catherine is so wonderful and beautiful, and she did my hair for my birthday last year. The whole time I was like, oh my God, I'm in the presence of a celebrity. But you guys, I can, like, you know, air out my dirty magic panties and be like, okay, y'all.
I feel that. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a silly thing to admit.
But not having to have it all figured out, you know, like with that ego, whenever we think that we always have to have the right answers or we're doing the right thing, then we stifle ourselves from growing.
It's true.
So being able to be real with other practitioners, you know, it helps us to grow.
It does.
Yeah. And because I know.
Go ahead.
Of course. No.
I was just going to say, like, I am not in a coven. Interested, but not in one. But I imagine in my head, this is what you do. And so it's like, yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So thank you.
This is it. Yeah. Same wavelength. Love that.
Well, and especially like, God, aren't we? It just reminds me of us being so true to our own message of that we all have drastically different practices, and yet we come here and have this community that I am just beyond grateful for. I love y'all.
What a love fest. Love it.
Yeah. Is that it? Is season 2 over? I think it.
Oh God.
I think Spirit's like, all right, guys, y'all are season 2 is Dunskies.
Wrap it up. Wow. Yay.
I love y'all.
Thank you, Spirit.
Yes.
Spirit. Stay magical, people.
Stay true to your magic.
Stay true to your magic.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Magical Aspirations. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Magical Aspirations to keep up with the latest and the greatest from Annalisa, Adriana, and Reverend Raven, and to join in on the Magical Aspirations conversations. Come check out our website, magicalaspirations.com, to find bonuses from our guests, our Magical Aspirations blog, and to reach out to our magical hosts with questions, comments, reviews, or ideas for future episodes. We are so grateful for each and every one of you listening. Thank you again, and as always, stay true to your magic.